Your show will go live in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Blogtalk Radio.
Hello and welcome everybody to another episode of Closer Encounters, the show where you, the listener, is also the guest. I am your host, Clarence Mitchell, coming to you live from somewhere in Minnesota. Live on Facebook, YouTube, and Google Hangouts. For all of our newest updates, check us out on Facebook at www.facebook.com/Closer Encounters Radio. Don't forget to like, follow, and share. Would you like to be a special guest on Closer Encounters? Or do you know somebody that would like to be a special guest on Closer Encounters? Then just shoot us an email at closerencounters.info@gmail.com. That's closerencounters.info@gmail.com. Have you ever witnessed a UFO? Or seen something that you just cannot explain? Or maybe you've had your very own closer encounter. You believe in the ancient alien theory? We talk about this and much, much more. If you have a story, or maybe a question that you'd like to get answered, give us a call. The number here is 347-989-1008. Again, the number 347-989-1008. Give us a call here at Closer Encounters. I'd love to talk to you.
Well, hello everybody, and welcome back to a new edition of Closer Encounters here on Blog Talk Radio. If you're just joining in with us, we are live on Facebook, YouTube, and Google Hangouts. And we are glad to have you with us. I want to wave to Gail and Karen. Can everybody hear me okay? Is the sound okay? If you can give me a heads up real quick. I'd like to see how this is going. Last time we were here, we wound up having some technical difficulties, but so far so good. So I hope everything stays good. Alrighty. All right. Cool. All right. Well, this is our 101 episode. As you know, our last one, of course, was our 100th show. Went over fairly well. We had some glitches in the beginning, but needless to say, it went on and we did good. So now tonight, I didn't go live on my regular YouTube page. I went live on the Closer Encounters page. I didn't know if it would work or not. So far, it seems to be doing okay. You know, they're always updating, always doing different things. So, you know, pretty cool. I see we have a couple of guests here in our chat room also on Blog Talk. I want to welcome them. Feel free to ask questions or do whatever. Like I said, if you're just tuning in and you'd like to call in tonight, of course, the number here is 347-989-08. I'd love to take your call and chat with you. We do have a few things I want to discuss tonight. Of course, the main thing was getting back to the basics on ufology and stuff. And I'm going to tell you why I wrote what I wrote. When I did the description for the show, and it's been getting pretty monotonous lately. Of course, I'm an admin also with the Ancient Alien group. They're on Facebook, and I've been reading a lot of posts. I've been getting a lot of posts from people for the Closer Encounters page. A lot of things are being emailed to me and instant messaged, different things like that, asking my opinions and whatnots, and which is okay. That's fine. The problem is lately, and I say lately, I'm talking probably a year, whatever. It seems that a lot of misinformation is being thrown out here, and it's just way too much. A lot of bogus videos. Everybody seems to run to YouTube, and look at this YouTube video. This flying saucer. Blah 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 blah, and it's so bogus. Most of it. It's just made up crap, and some people believe in them. Other ones don't. And you can pretty much tell a lot of times just by looking at it, the fake stuff, and that's what I really want to talk about with people and stuff like that, discouraging how much stuff is out there that people are trying to pawn off and pass off as legit and stuff like that. And then you get these guys that come into the room, into the group, and they, wow, there's no such thing as UFOs, there's no such thing as aliens. Why are you even in the group if that's the case? That's my first question for you. It's really upsetting when you do that. If it's not your thing, leave, okay? I don't get why you would even want to join a ufology group or ancient aliens group if you don't believe in it. I don't get it. Is it just a thing for you to come in there and raise hell with people? I feel sad for you if that's the case. Really, unbelievable. But anyway, trying to wade through a lot of this stuff, and it seems to me a lot of posts that I've been seeing lately, it has been a lot of stuff that come way out from way back in the 60s and 70s and stuff like that. And a lot of people, I'm going to say the younger generation, they weren't even born yet, most of them. I have no idea what has happened, say, in the last 30, 40 years as far as UFOs and, abductions and stuff like that, crop circles, cattle mutilations, different other things, just crazy stuff. We've had some awesome investigators back in the time, back in the day. We still have a few with us now. Unfortunately, they're getting older. As you know, we just lost Jim Mars, who was, he was more of a conspiracy theorist, but he also was into, the other part of the ufology program. But our condolences to his family. And, he wrote a few books, excellent speaker, been on many talk shows. And there's lots of videos with him and different things. And I suggest, you know, if you really want to get into that, you know, watch his stuff. But he's been around in the community for a very long time, and as long as I can remember, anyway. And it's sad to see him go. And on top of that, we still have some really good investigators with us. Linda Moulton Howell being one of them. And as you see, I keep up to dates on her stuff a lot with Earth File News. And I try, every time I get a posting from her or whatever, I put it on my page and up to date on what's going on there. And, you know, really, really good stuff. She's a front runner as far as I'm concerned. Been out there doing it, and God bless her, you know. Anyway, so tonight's show was getting back to the basics, you know, ufology 101. And basically what I wanted to do was kind of go back in time a little bit and talk about some of the older things that had happened as far as UFOs and ufology. As you remember, of course, a lot of people think Roswell right away, that, you know, that was the big one that put us over the edge, so to speak. And it was, and it wasn't. The problem is with Roswell, not that it's an old story and whatever, but if you look at anything Roswell now in today's investigations or whatever, you're not going to get the actual full story on it. What's happening is people are chopping up these stories that were actually legit, or, you know, what they were back in the time, and they're adding things or taking away things and whatever. And it's just a sad thing to see. Most people don't know this, but Roswell wasn't just about one spaceship. There was actually 3 crashes, but Roswell got the most notoriety because that was the first one that actually got called in on. But there were 2 other crashes besides the Roswell incident. And if you remember, those of you that were into this back in that time, the other ones were where they actually came up with the alien bodies. Supposedly one crashed, and I think it had 2 or 3 bodies in it, and they all were dead when they got there. And then there was 2 other entities that ejected in a pod out of their spaceship before it crash landed, and they wound up getting caught up with and was taken to a military installation where they were held captive. Well, I say captive, it's kind of a harsh word, but they were held. One did die rather quickly, and the other one supposedly stayed around for some time, giving us insight on different things and whatever. And actually, I don't know what happened to that particular entity. Your guess is as good as mine. Whether they released it or it died later on, I don't know. But there was a lot of things that stemmed from all of that from Roswell. The alien autopsy, which we all know was faked. It was proven faked afterwards. A whole bunch of different things. And, you know, they took Roswell and they just made a complete mess out of it over the years. And it just, wow, totally crazy. And then, of course, you had the Bob Lazar story, you know, Area 51. And, you know, they all went up to the hillside, and he showed them, you know, UFOs that were being flown back and forth and different things like that, which was pretty cool. True story. It actually happened, you know. And, you know, we're going back, you know, to the years where well, what was it, 61, 62? I'm trying to remember now what the actual year was. The Betty and Barney Hill story of their abduction made headline news. It's probably one of the biggest and most famous alien abductions, other than the case of the movie Fire in the Sky there, where I can't think of his name now, where he was abducted. Remember, he was a tree serviceman, and he come up missing for 4 or 5 days, and his buddies were all investigated, and then he wound up showing up in the next town over a few days later. Really good story. Made, again, headline news, one of the biggest stories out there. And here's the thing that gets me is you get all these people, especially now, who say, oh, we want proof. We have no evidence. We have this, give us proof, give us evidence, blah, 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 blah. Well, people, there's been proof and there's been evidence from way back in the early 1900s, okay? Even further back than that, there's been proof and evidence of it. There's been sightings of aircraft before we even had aircraft, okay? And even further back, if you really want to go ancient times, it's carved in the stones. It's painted on cave walls, okay? It's been written about time and time and time again. So you don't need to sit around and say there's no proof and there's no evidence, because there is. There surely is. It's been around for centuries, hundreds and hundreds of years. It's been around. Hell, even your own Bible talks about it, okay? So the proof is there, but you want physical evidence. You want something you can pick up and walk away with. Well, you know what? You're not going to always get that, And what evidence there was or is, most likely they did anyway, which is a sad deal. But yeah, as far as being proved and all that stuff, it's out there. All you got to do is look and listen. It's been there for years and years and years. And, these people that just have it in their heart to just go out and raise hell with you and, say that you're full of crap and whatever, well, that's their thing. And like I said, if you're in our group and you're doing that and whatever, don't let the door hit you in the butt on the way out. It's not a place for you. Go about your business, do your thing, and, leave the rest of us alone, because this is what we believe in. This is what we want to do. So, unfortunately, you have that. But anyway, and then there's been many, many reports of this Antarctica stuff. Digger Dog, he's on the chat room. He says they may be getting paid to stir things up. It's very possible. Who knows what the underhanded things are going on out there. I try not to get into the big conspiracy aspect of things. I know there is agendas on the flip side of the coin. It's been going on for many, many years, the cover-ups and stuff. And it is ridiculous. It really is. Why it's out there, I have no idea. But, we have MoveOn. We have other places, that people report these things and that are investigated. We've had, what's the TV show? Alien Hunters, where they actually went out and did all these investigations and stuff like that. And the sad part about that was they were shut off. Because, they got too close or whatever. They did a couple of things that was a no-no, don't go there. Well, they went there, which is what anybody else would do. And they shut the show down. Go figure. So there's your proof there too. I mean, if that's the case and there was nothing to any of this whatsoever, then why would they care what these guys did? or, you know, went out and did all these investigations and stuff, why would they shut their shows down and different things and, you know, keep them from elaborating on certain things, you know? Go figure. So, you know, people come and say, prove it. Well, no, you prove to me that there isn't. Okay, that's how I want to do it, because it's crazy. There's just too much that has happened. Too many people have witnessed. Too many people, you know, out of all the abduction cases and stuff. I'm not going to say every one of them is real. I know what happened to me. You know, different things like that. But there's just too damn many of them for it not to be a real deal. Okay, and that's just the way it is. I never thought about that until I went to the BF community looking from afar. Too much BS to be just a coincidence. Absolutely. Yeah. Disinformation is alive and well. Absolutely. Absolutely. And I don't know, like I said, I don't know the real reason why they would want to, you know, debunk that. It's pretty crazy. And what's really ironic about it is, and people don't talk about certain things that actually happen. You know, you get one person that says, you know, he'll comment, well, if they're real, why don't they land on the White House lawn? Well, they tend to forget that they actually had, what was it, 4, 6 UFOs that hovered over the White House, you know, not just once, not just twice, but like 3 or 4 days in a row. They kept coming back, you know, and every time they would send jets or whatever up there to, you know, figure out what's going on and whatever, you know, they left them in their dust. You know, it's an actual account. It's written down. It's documented. It's real. It was a threat to our nation, you know, according to them. So yeah, there's your proof. I mean, it's crazy when you really stop and think about it. The proof has been here for a very, very, very long time, and these individuals, you know, especially the newer crowd, you know, that come out here now and claim that there's no proof. Well, you weren't here. You know, go back and look. There's definite proof. And like I said, there's ancient carvings. There's paintings on the walls. Every type of culture has had their entity of one form or another, you know. And it's just amazing when you stop and consider throughout man's travels, you know, and what they've logged down in their lifetime, all the sightings and all the visitations and stuff, from the Mayans, you know, to the Incas, the Hopi Indian, you know, with the Anunnaki, you know, and the list goes on and on and on. Aborigines in Australia had their thing going. I mean, and you know, and it's not just you know, one particular entity or whatever. There was many. And not to mention the wars that they've seen in the air between the two and different things like that. I mean, well documented, well talked about, but totally forgotten. And this is where we need to take a step back and actually review some of the older stuff and bring these things back out, you know, to the public and show them, hey, this ain't something new, you know. This has been going on for ages and ages. And it's just, you know, you have to, you know, realize just how far back this stuff goes. Digger Dog says, too many higher ups very easily go to jail for what they have done to witness, and after we the people realize that we have been lied to for 70 plus years. The next question is, what else have they lied to us about? Yeah, well, that's par for the course. You know, and I'm not one to wrap everything up in one big ball. You know, the government lies about a lot of things, obviously, but I'm not going to try and put UFOs and chemtrails into the same category. Okay, I'm not going to put you know, the flat Earth conspiracy and alien abduction into the same category. It's all different, you know, as far as that goes. Everybody thinks that everything nowadays is a conspiracy, and that's the problem we have. It's such an epidemic, and I call it an epidemic because that's what it is. It just seems like nobody believes that there's any truth to anything out there, and there is. And that's back to the basics, because, you know, if you let this go on, sooner or later it's all going to get squashed, and you're not going to be able to believe in anything, because, you know, it's going to be such a mass pile of crap, you know, and it's a sad deal. It really is. So, you know, when you see these things go on, you know, and whatever, you know, fight back a little bit. Tell these people, hey, you tend to forget this stuff. You know, this is where it happened. This is where it all began. You know, there's been evidence and evidence and evidence upon evidence. You know, don't believe everything you hear, you know, conspiracy-wise. It's just, you know, it's not right. Unfortunately, they shouldn't be given a free pass anymore, or we as a species will not survive. Time to man up. Yeah, exactly. Unfortunately, that's not going to happen. You know, and like you said earlier, you know, there's probably a few of them getting paid, you know, to do this and do whatever, and it's a sad deal. Good example, prime example was the mummies, you know, that Gaia was following. Now, I want to get this straight to people too right away, before they get misconstrued, because this is how things happen. Gaia was not involved, okay, in the very beginning of this. They were not involved in the finding of the mummies or any of that stuff. They came on board much, much later on, actually a couple of years later, after all this other stuff was said and done. Okay. Most of it was done in the Spanish speaking community, and Gaia came on board to help out with the English side of the coin, so to speak. Unfortunately, and for the rest of us, they were found to be fakes. And I posted posts about it. A lot of you have seen them. A lot of you commented on it and stuff. And it's a damn shame. It really is. What they did was they went into these tombs, bodies out of the tombs. I'm going to explain this to you so you guys can understand it. And they literally dismembered and reconstructed other bodies with other body parts, and shoved them back into the tombs. So when people found them and stuff, they thought they had something really going on. And or they may have been the same people that proclaimed that they found them. I don't know how that worked. But the government over there is really super pissed, and they are out for blood. Not only did they desecrate people's graves and stuff, but they desecrated their bodies. Ancient mummies and stuff were disturbed, which is a big, big no-no. Yeah, these guys could be put away really for a very, very long time. They get caught up with. So, you know, right now they're out for blood and they're looking for them, and it won't be long. I guarantee it. Somebody's going to get busted, and I can't wait. You know, and I hope they put it on the news worldwide, and I'm going to laugh my ass off when it happens. But, you know, and this is the thing. Now, I did mention, you know, there was a particular individual who was involved in this. Now, whether or not he was there from the beginning, If he had something to do with the actual hoax itself, I don't know. I'm not going to say that he did, but everybody knows that he has been involved in the past in certain shady type things. So, once you start doing that, your credibility goes right in the toilet. And that's just, that's what happens. So now a lot of them are looking at him saying, you got some explanations to do here, and, we'll see what happens on that part. But, I said it from day one. You heard it here. And I told people, I was really skeptical just because of his name. I was totally skeptical about it. And lo and behold, it came out being true, unfortunately. So Digger says, let's see what the DNA tests show. Well, that's the problem. They already did carbon dating. They know that, they are from ancient times and stuff like that. The DNA test and everything, it ain't going to matter because they've already done the x-rays. They can see where everything has been removed and put back together, so on and so forth. They know there's been a lot of tampering. So they're not even going to bother with DNA because obviously it doesn't matter at this point. The other thing was, too, there was a couple of smaller entities, because there's 5 mummies total that got brought into this deal. And 2 of them were very, very small. And come to find out that those were actually built. There was no DNA. They were going to do DNA testing on them. There was no DNA to be found because there was no real flesh or no real bone or anything. That was the ones that they did the conference on, which this particular person never showed up for. Go figure. And yeah, so that's what got them onto the other ones. Basically was, well, if these are fake, then what's going on? What about the other ones? So they went and did complete x-rays and stuff and whatever right away. And they're like, oh, you got to be kidding us, So unfortunately, yeah. You can build a doll and do things like that and fake people out. And that's one thing, funny, haha, yeah, bad on us, okay? But they went a little bit overboard when they actually took real live mummies, or not live mummies, but real mummies, okay, ancient mummies, out of their tombs and desecrated them. And that's, that's the thing that's really upsetting to these people now in the government. And boy, I wouldn't want to be in these people's shoes, whoever did it, I'll tell you what. Not going to be fun. Not going to be fun. But yeah, good luck with that. But see, this just goes to show you how far people will go to, fake stuff and, for whatever, if they did it just for laughs, or they did it for the hype. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, what did they think that they would find when they tested these things? Obviously, if you hoax something, they're going to figure it out, just like they did. You're not going to, actually be able to do what they did and try to get away with it. It's just not going to happen. Too many forensics, especially this day and age. So why would you even bother trying? I just don't get that part of it whatsoever. What is the deal? I don't know. Same thing with crop circles. We got a bunch of new crop circles that just came out. I was going to put up some photographs, different ones. I just haven't had the time. I've been working on the show and doing other different things here. But anyway, the government over there in England is getting upset. They feel that these crop circles are just coming on way too many. in such a short period of time. And they sent out a warning that if you are caught making a crop circle in the fields of England, New England or whatever, over in Worcestershire, there will be punishment. They didn't say what the punishment would be, but yeah, they're getting down and dirty on this. So we're going to sit back and see how this pans out too. Are they going to sit in the fields at night and wait for these people to make crop circles, or what are they going to do? Maybe they actually get to witness one being made. That would be pretty awesome, wouldn't it? And then they can say, okay, they're not people. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say that every crop circle made out there is original, okay? Obviously, you look at some of them and some of the design patterns and stuff, in the back of your mind that it's definitely done by artists of some type, and doing a really super nice job of it, by the way. Pretty awesome looking stuff. But then there are them few, and I say few, that you really have to scratch your head over and say, I just can't believe that man can make something like that overnight or in the amount of time that they have, 5, 6, 7 hours, whatever it is. Unless you got a whole whack of people. And there again, you just don't have the evidence. It would almost look like a herd of elephants would have gone through that field just to make these things. And there's nothing like that whatsoever. So, yeah, pretty crazy stuff. So, yeah, basically what's happening in the community as far as ufology and crop circles and things of this nature, the governments and stuff are kind of stepping in and they're saying, hey, you know what, enough's enough. Enough with the fake stuff, enough with this, enough with that. And they're actually starting to condemn these things and these people, and they want to get down to the bottom of it themselves. So that's what's happening, which is really awesome, really awesome. So, if I were you, and if you're out making a crop circle in the middle of the night or whatever, I'd be awful careful, if that's what you're doing. But I, for one, like I said, I know there's a few there that there's no way they can be man-made. A lot of them are. I'll grant you that. But there are those few that, man, I just scratch my head over. Truly, truly bizarre stuff. Awesome stuff. But, at the same sense, it's just in awe. It's like, wow. Crazy. So anyway, yeah, the authorities over there are clamping down, and they're going to keep looking and searching, and so I think it's going to be ironic, or I hope what happens if they're out looking in these fields for people and stuff like that, that they actually an orb or whatever, making one. I think that would be awesome. Now, would they say that they witnessed that if it actually happened? Your guess is as good as mine. I don't know. Would anybody actually say, we watched this? Or would they keep it hushed up and say, it's still a hoax or whatever? Time will tell. It's going to be interesting to see how that pans out. No doubt about it. Because they're just kind of starting this deal. So we'll see what happens. Going to be interesting. Definitely. Definitely. But like I said, there's a lot of things that's happened in the past. Just in my lifetime, I'm only, 56 years old. And I remember a lot of things that happened back in the 60s and 70s, as a small child and growing up and stuff. I know what happened to me personally. And of course, once these programs started coming out, you know, and they were trying to educate the people. And well, I posted a post in Closer Encounters page with the show with Rod Serling as the commentator and a couple other older actors. If you haven't seen that, I wish you would go back and watch it and listen to it. You're going to recognize a lot of things that you probably may have forgotten about, and you're going to say, "Oh yeah, that's right, I remember that." You know, very good, very good. It was made in 1979, so it's going back a few years. But some of the things, or a lot of the things that they talk about, go back even further, and you know, it's really remarkable when you stop and think about how we had investigators back then, and we had, you know, different organizations and things like that who truly believed in these things. And, you know, they were punching forward. And obviously Rod Serling, and a few of those other people also believed in it wholeheartedly. And, you know, they made these documentaries and shows and videos and different things like that. God bless them. You know, but when you stop and think about it, and, you know, those things that were happening back then, you know, it's the same kind of thing that's happening now, basically, except now in the electronic age, so to speak, it's a different type of deal, you know. So their advancement, right along with our advancements, you know, and you know, we did our moon landings, our you know, we sent our astronauts into space, and you know what? For you people that don't believe we've been to the moon, I'm sorry. Get your head out of the sand, okay? And that's all I'm going to say about that, because it's, you know, you people act like we've done nothing in our lifetime as far as humans and our technology and stuff. I mean, seriously, you know, you got to give us credit, okay? It's just remarkable, the people that don't believe these things, you know. I just shake my head after everything that these people have gone through, and, you know, their whole life was dedicated to being in space and going to the moon and doing different things. But yet now, and this is the really kicker in the butt that I don't understand, we have a rover on Mars taking pictures. Now these people will believe that. Yeah, we've sent a rover to Mars, which is how far away from the moon? How long did it take to get there? Yeah, wow. We never went to the moon, but we can make it to Mars, whether it's human or robotic or whatever. It's just astounding to me how that happens. You know, yeah, let's just skip the moon because it's the closest planet. Let's just go on out to Mars. The hell with everything else. Come on, people. Really? You know, and the telescopes we have up there taking pictures of things that are just so way. You can't even fathom. I mean, it's just amazing, amazing in technology. And, you know, these non-believers, you know, they just don't give man, human, credit. I just don't get that. You know, it's crazy. Which brings up another point. If we, as humans, I mean, look at us. We're pretty simple, right? Pretty basic, structured, whatever. If we can do the things we're doing now with the Mars rovers and the telescopes and all of the satellites and the technology with cell phones and computers and blah, 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 blah. If we got all that under our belts, and we're doing it right now, today, this day and age, okay, what makes you think there's not other advanced, intelligent life from someplace else, much more advanced than we are? I mean, seriously, you know, to actually believe out of all of this open vastness that we call space, the universes, the galaxies, all that, that there isn't some other form of life out there, it's beyond my comprehension. I mean, seriously, I can't believe how people wouldn't believe in that, you know. But yet they'll believe in an entity, and I'm sorry if I throw people off on this, you know, and people get upset with me saying this, but they'll believe in an entity that they've never seen, but only written about, you know, in a book, and they'll give money and they'll bow and they'll pray and they'll do all that, but you can't believe or understand other intelligent life, you know, from some other vastness. That's, I won't understand that myself. I don't get that part of it. But have you done any research on the UFO piece I mentioned a few episodes ago? That's from Andrew. Which piece was that, Andre? Because I've done so much lately. Hi to Robin. I want to say hi to Cheryl and Dawn and you guys. Thank you very much for being here. I get on this rant. I'm sorry. I don't mean to. You know, I want to recognize everybody that's here, and thank you all for being here. I've been working hard on the show, trying to get a new show going up here. As you heard, I changed the intro. I did change the outro also. I shortened it up a little bit. I'm only doing an hour to an hour and a half shows right now. Not because of anything other than the fact that, you know, I've been getting messages and different things of people saying how it tends to drag and, you know, the information isn't there that they're looking for and whatever. So I do apologize for that. And I promised that I would, you know, get my act together and we'll get things better. So that's what we're doing. So, yeah, Andre, if you could give me a little more info on which one you were talking about, because I think I remember, but I'm not quite sure which UFO piece you were talking about. There's been so many. The piece of alloy that was shot off a UFO on a ranch. This was from a Uncovering Aliens show. Now, are you talking about a piece of alloy? Are you talking about something recent, or is this something that happened back in the 50s and 60s? Because it reminds me of a story about the one that crashed on the farm, that they threw all the pieces down into the well. There was actually an alien body that was buried in a cemetery. And when the investigators went to, they actually found the grave and the marker and everything. Needless to say, when they left and whatever, and they came back, somebody had taken the marker and removed all evidence, you know, whatever. The well's been covered up. They couldn't get any samples of the water or anything like that. You know, the farm has been sold, you know, blah, blah, blah. But apparently the UFO hit a windmill on the way in, and it crashed. And the old boy, actually, I think you can pretty much still Google that. I can't remember the guy's name right off the bat. But he had arthritis, super, super bad. His fingers were just like elephantitis. It's from dealing with that particular spacecraft and stuff. I'm dropping my stuff on the floor. Excuse me. But I don't know if that's the same one you're referring to or not. Oh boy. Yeah. But if that's the same one, yeah, it's an older story, and I can send you all the information on that. That's not a problem. It's a well-known story. There again, a partial cover-up done by the townspeople or the town's government with that alien body. They just didn't want them out there monkeying with it and whatever, and they left it. He wrote it down last time. It was analyzed by scientists. It was proven to be extraterrestrial. It was not made by humans nor naturally made. Yeah. Okay, I think I know what you're talking about here. Let me see here. Let me look here. I think I know exactly the one you're talking about. You know what, buddy? Okay, let's see here. Memory code. Boy, I don't know where I wrote it down. I do remember writing it down too. I know it's here, someplace here. And you know what? You're absolutely right. And I have not. I do apologize, buddy. That's my fault. I have not gone back and investigated it much on that one. But I do know what you're talking about now. Okay. Well, I tell you what. I'm going to write this down again. Yeah, this time I'm going to know right where I put it. Because I'm going to put it on this page. Yeah, put it down here. Iron off UFO investigation. I will actually. I'll check into this tonight, and I will send you a personal thing on it, on what I find. Yeah, I'll do that. I do apologize. You're absolutely right. So that's what I'll do. Not of Earth. Cool. Yes, I'll do that. But yeah, you're absolutely right. And I know I got it wrote down also somewhere else in here, but I rewrote it, and I'll definitely I'll check that out tonight, as a matter of fact, and I'll get back with you on that. Absolutely. Yeah. I do apologize. Yeah, that's what happens with me. I tell you, I get caught up in this other stuff, and it's just, you know, I forget. And even today, first thing this morning, I was sitting down having my cup of coffee, making up the show, doing my write-ups and different things like that. And I bet you I counted at least 10 instant messages from other people giving me stuff today. It was really strange, and why. It was almost like it was meant to be, you know. People who see me online and they're like, hey, check this out, check this out, check this out, you know, so whatever. That's okay. I think it's a special case where we have 100% physical evidence of UFOs. Well, I'm going to definitely check into it and see what I come up with, and I'll definitely let you know. But yeah, very interesting deal. I do remember talking about this on our last show, I think it was, or maybe even a show before that. And yeah, I never did get to check it out, but I will. I promise you on that. I definitely will. I wanna see. But see, it's things like that, and it's things like that. Uh-oh. Look at that. I just lost my we're going to keep this going. I'm glad I'm still alive. I just lost the radio part. We're going to let me get this booted back up. This is crazy. Yeah.
Now press 1.
There we go.
Since it appears you're calling back into a live show, we are reconnecting you now.
Sorry about that, folks. Good old Blog Talk Radio. Unbelievable. You know, they tell me they got it fixed, and then and I've worked with this now for 2 days. I've been on here and never had a bit of problem until now. And so, you know, hey, my cousin Joe's in. Hello, Joe. How you doing, buddy? Good to see you. Let's see, Darian, Adrian, do you think there is some truth in some of the things that happen in horror movies? You know, it's funny, as far as horror movies go, I'm not a big fan of horror flicks myself. I mean, things like Dracula and Frankenstein, different things like that. There is some truth to some of that stuff, believe it or not. You know, there were doctors that did evil things back in the day, you know, crazy stuff. So there is a slight bit of truth to some of that stuff. Yeah, absolutely. But, you know, I just never got into the horror flicks, you know, like Friday the 13th and Freddy and stuff like that. I just never was a big fan of that kind of stuff. You know, I was more of the sci-fi thing, you know, space, you know, things like that. I don't know. I mean, there were some movies I watched, obviously, but, you know, I wasn't a big fan. So, you know, has anybody, speaking of which, I'm glad you brought that up. Did anybody catch the Rob Lowe show that was on that I posted about? It was on Wednesday. They did some paranormal research. Pretty crazy. They went into this reformatorium. It was an old boys reformatorium. And they set up special gizmos and stuff like that. And they had lights that shined. And, you know, they got a ball to be moved and different things like that. It was a pretty interesting show. He's going to go apparently and do all kinds of things. He's going to look for Bigfoot. He's going to look for extraterrestrials. He's going to look for Nessie. He's going to, you know, all these things that you've heard about, ghost stories and different things like that. I guess him and his 2 boys are doing this whole thing where they want to go out and see how much truth that they can uncover. So it was kind of interesting. And I got sirens screaming here, so we must have an accident out in town here or something going on. Crazy. Hello, Doug. Hello, Fred. How are you guys? I want to wave at you. But anyway, getting back to what I was talking about, yeah, this ought to be pretty interesting to see what he does. The only thing I didn't care for, you know, of course, he stopped for donuts and had to have a picture thing with a bunch of women. You know, it was a Rob Lowe moment. You know, get over it. Come on, people. You know. So I can see where he's mixing the two together, so to speak. Yeah, I guess you can do that when you're a movie star. But kind of ironic. But anyway. But yeah, you know, we're going to see how this pans out with him. So, Doug said, yeah, they're out to get you. Yeah, I wouldn't doubt that a bit. Join the crowd. Crazy stuff. But yes, what were we talking about earlier? Oh, okay. I was going to mention the fact that these I got sent a couple of videos by people who are these non-moon people. You know, we've never been to the moon type people or whatever. And it was mentioned in one of them how you can actually go and look. I can't remember the website offhand, but you can go and look and see pictures of the actual tracks that were left behind and the flags and stuff like that, you know, and different things. And the guy in the video claims that it's all fake, you know, all the pictures, that NASA's fake, you know, I mean, that's their biggest explanation on everything. It's just to cover up everything's fake. It was all done in a movie studio and, you know, blah, 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 blah. I just think it's kind of ironic. And there again, this is from somebody who wasn't even born yet when this stuff was going on, you know. And he wouldn't understand the great space race that we had going on at the time. And quite frankly, a lot of people think, and of course it's been discussed on the Ancient Alien show, if anyone you remember a few episodes back, a lot of people think it's the reason why JFK was originally assassinated was because of the space race. And there seems to be a lot more evidence pointing that way than there was the other way, you know. So, and they're still digging on that. And hopefully someday they'll actually bring the truth out on that also. But yeah, big thing. People didn't want us going to the moon and, you know, doing all that stuff. And he knew that there was other things going on, and they didn't want him spilling the beans, and they took him out. That was one of the theories that they have on this now. So it may be true. You know, who knows? Who knows for sure? But there's a lot of evidence that points that way. A lot of evidence. So wouldn't that be something? Wow. Hard to believe. But anyway, yes. So going back, like I said, you know, people want proof and they want evidence and all this stuff. And all I can really tell you guys is to go back in the archives and look. You know, we had so many things happen. I don't remember the year, but in California, I believe it was during World War II. Matter of fact, I'm almost positive. Yeah, I think it was during World War II with Japan when they had the kamikazes and they destroyed Pearl Harbor. But in the middle of the night, they had these flying disc, whatever entities that came over, and they shot artillery Adam. Did anything, I don't think, but I mean, it was just, they blew the sirens. They had spotlights and searchlights on them. They were firing, anti-aircraft stuff at it and whatever, and launching all this stuff in the air. It went on for, quite a while anyway, during the middle of the night. Just littered the town with, shells and all kind of stuff, crazy stuff. But there, again, is a famous true story, actually happened, documented, worldwide news, blah, 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 and people are still asking for proof and evidence, and it's here. It's been here, You just tend to forget about all this stuff that actually happened, So it's just remarkable. Of all the things, like I said, the ones that went over the White House, that were, above the White House itself, not once, not twice, but, 3 or 4 times during the same week. They kept coming back and kept coming back. Now, why they were interested in the Capitol, Washington or whatever, nobody seems to really know. But yeah, crazy stuff. And this is stuff that the military has proof of and has released to the public. I mean, it's public news. Everybody knows about it. It's a true story. So, there again, more evidence, more proof. So all these people that run around saying, "Oh, show me the proof," you're full of crap and whatever. It's there. It's been there for many, many years. You just gotta, go back and remember and check it out. So that's what I wanted to do tonight. I did want to get back to the basics, 101, and kind of bring back some of these old memories and old stories, of things that happened in the past. And, we have things right now going on that people can't explain. There's all types of sightings and different anomalies. A lot of orbs, for whatever reason, whether they're changing their structures, maybe they're not doing man-made flights anymore. Maybe they're just robotic flights now. Who knows for sure what the thing is, Back in the day, everything was dish-shaped and cigar-shaped and, big craft. What do we have? The one that went over Phoenix was the big triangle craft that they had. Which reminds me, while I'm thinking about this, I do this all the time. When we talk about the Phoenix lights, I need to explain this to people so they actually understand what happened that night. Because every time you hear the thing about the Phoenix lights and you see a YouTube video about it, or if it's on TV or whatever, they always show the set of lights that were by the stadium. Okay. I'm going to try to straighten this out for you here real quick. There was 2 separate incidences that happened the very same night. Okay. The first incident was during the game. Okay. And people were seeing these fallen lights that came down and they hung down and they made this certain like arc, or, they were in line anyway. After investigation was done and all that stuff, they actually found out that they were flares being dropped by the military on an exercise that were on the other side of the mountain range. Okay. They weren't really that close. I mean, they were close, but not super close. Okay. So whenever you see a picture of those string of lights that, you know, are crossing, that's what they were. They were actual military flares that were dropped out of airplanes. That was an exercise that they were putting on at that particular time. Now, halfway across the state was an actual UFO, triangular in shape, huge, obviously, you know, from what the witnesses were saying, you know, with 3 lights in a triangular shape and whatever, that was actually being flown across Arizona. And I believe it went down into New Mexico, wherever it was headed. It was tracked for quite some time. And of course, if you remember, the governor had a big field day about it. Ha ha, comedian brought in this big alien thing, you know, blah, blah, blah. But now, later on, now today, he's saying yes. You know, he apologizes, and he actually did get to witness that particular UFO. And, you know, he is claiming now that, you know, it is a true story. So I just wanted to clear that up for you guys, that when you talk about the Phoenix Lights or you hear about the Phoenix Lights, 2 separate incidences. One of them was actual military flares. The other one was a triangular craft. So I just wanted to set that straight for you. Let's see. Have you seen the Voynich manuscript? In the painting by Leonardo da Vinci, you can see a UFO in the corner of the painting. Yeah, you know, there's a lot about old Renaissance paintings back in the day which show UFOs. And of course, it's really hard to, I don't want to say this. It's really hard to say for sure what the painter was trying to portray when he painted that, okay? Some people think that it portrays angels. Some people think it was UFOs and other entities. You know, look at the one that they did with God and man holding on to the antennae of the world. You know, it looks like Sputnik. You know, I can't explain that. Beautiful painting, but wow, yeah. There was another one where there's a shepherd, you know, looking up, and there's a UFO of some type with a bunch of beams, you know, shooting down. Looks like we have a caller here. I don't know if this may be Lee or Colin. Hello, caller.
Hey, Colin.
Hey, Lee. How are you, dear?
Fine. How are you?
Good, good, good. Yeah. Just talking about some old stuff, you know, trying to get back to the basics.
Oh, yeah, that's good. That's good.
Yeah.
Always good to do that.
Well, you know, it's just the thing that, you know, people now claim that everything is BS and there's no proof and no evidence and stuff like that. And you know, I tell people.
Well, and I noticed on the Facebook site, people kind of get discouraged because so much like not only fake stuff, but you know, people just throw stuff in there, and I think some people get kind of discouraged about that.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely, and I agree. You know, and I don't know. When I look at posts that are pending, and of course that's me personally, I try to read most of them before I approve them. And some of them are duplicates. And if you people are listening right now, you know, if you don't see your post going on, it's usually because it is a duplicate. That's the first thing. And we have so many of the same ones over and over and over again. And then you got the ones that have the titles. And this is what kills me. When you read the titles of them, and I'll give you a good example on this. There's one that's been floating around for over a week now about NASA hiring. You know, they need to hire somebody to save us from aliens. you know. They want to hire a certain person, you know, and you know, some kind of a coordinator to save the world from aliens.
You know what? I did see that.
Yeah, well,
need to be saved from aliens.
yeah, well, that's not what that post is about whatsoever. If you actually read or know what's going on there, they want to hire a coordinator specifically for sending things out into space, and it's about microorganisms and stuff like that is what it's all about. And this particular person, whoever gets this job, is going to be contracted basically to eliminate any type of bacterial matter, and you know, they want a clean environment, blah 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 blah. That's what this person is supposed to do. It has nothing to do with actual aliens and, you know, stuff like that. So yeah, I don't put those posts in anymore. I see them and I just delete them. I'm like, you know, and I wrote on every single one of them, this has nothing to do with aliens. You know, it's about spacecraft, you know. But yeah, it's just funny.
Yeah.
But people will see that and they just have to post it. They got to post it, got to post it, got to post it. And it's like, read your own article first, please. You know, if you see something like that, open it up and read it, and make sure the title matches the description, you know, and vice versa.
Yeah.
You know, I think it's funny, you know.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. I know I put up a post, and I was trying to be serious when I put up my post. Was the last post I put was, have you seen something you couldn't explain? And I asked, did it shake you to the core? Mm-hmm. And I said, sure, if you want, you know. But
right.
I got some crazy stuff on there.
Of course. Yeah, now you're opening yourself up, you know. Yeah, it's funny.
Yeah. I mean, I was looking for people to be serious about it, you know, but no, they weren't.
Yeah. And you'll have that. And that's what's, and that kind of bothers me. It really does. That's what I was saying earlier. Why are you even in a group if you're not serious about certain things? Why do you even bother joining a group? I mean, if you're just there to laugh at other people and stuff, I don't think that's cool at all, you know. You can leave anytime.
Kind of, you know, I've said that myself before. Why join if you don't have an open mind or, you know, don't have something to offer, you know? Exactly.
I think it's a shame. It really is. Andre says, I've also read that Christopher Columbus encountered a USO, unidentified submerged object sighting during his travel to India. The USOs came up from the abyss and disappeared up in the sky. I think the sighting was described in the personal diary. Yes, you're absolutely right. And I'll tell you what happened. He was almost lynched over that ordeal. When he went back to the mainland, you know, to where he came from, and they got his logbooks and his diaries and stuff, because he described this UFO as a flying mana. I guess that's what you call it. What is that candlestick opera looking thing? You know, with all the candles on it.
I know. Oh, well.
Yeah, I forget the actual name, but because he described it as that, they went after him because it's kind of a religious relic, which has to do with Jewish faith, I think, or something of that nature. But anyway, it pissed them off that he even mentioned that. And they were, they kind of went after him about it. But that is
they didn't like it.
No, they did not like it at all. But that is a true story. Yes, Christopher Columbus did witness that. And, but yeah, in his diary, he described it as, you know, as this relic or whatever. And the king and queen and whoever said, don't ever do that again. You know, we'll kill you. He got whole hell about that. But that is a true story. But there again, okay, people want proof and they want evidence and stuff. There you go. That's another documented case by Christopher Columbus, you know, back in 1400s of all things, you know, witnessing something unidentifiable in the sky. Now, was it a spaceship? Was it? We don't know. We weren't there. Did it have flames? You know, it could have been a meteorite for all we know. But his description and stuff, you know, he described what he described, and, you know, pretty crazy. Who do you think is the most enigmatic person ever?
The most what?
I'm trying to. Enigmatic.
Enigmatic.
Yeah.
Enigmatic.
Enigmatic. Yeah. I'm not sure.
Who do you think, Clarence?
I'm not sure. Boy, that's a big question. Oh my goodness.
I mean, it just depends on what, like, in what, like, field or whatever they're looking for, you know?
Yeah, yeah. As far as, the most mysterious, he says. Okay, the most mysterious. The most mysterious person.
Oh.
Wow. Man, oh man.
Mysterious.
Yeah, mysterious.
Your ufology.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, that's a vast because there's so much.
Does he say who he thinks is mysterious?
Yeah, that's a good question. Who's your most mysterious person? Oh my goodness. The most mysterious. Wow. I tell you what, you know, we got Tim here with us. So let me grab Tim here real quick. Mr. Collard, you with us, sir?
Awesome.
Well,
Who do you? How we doing? Okay, he says maybe Robert Lazar. That's who he was talking about.
Well, I'm doing very well, dear. Thank you. On what y'all were trying to get a baseline on what you guys talk about real quick. You know, getting caught up here, but you know, it's hard to tell what else people saw in the skies. You know, back through time. You know, they did the best to describe it with what they had, with their knowledge, with what they had in their working knowledge.
Right.
Knew in their nomenclature to speak of, you know, what they could call things. You know, so, you know.
They got in trouble sometimes for what they called it.
Right. Yeah. Galileo, he was imprisoned by the Spanish Inquisition back in the 1505, 1503, something like that, somewhere around there. I don't know, y'all have to look it up.
Right.
But whatever his time frame was, the Spanish Inquisition had kept him under lock and key because he was of a rich family, but they couldn't kill him, but they couldn't let him go public with what he was talking about. They couldn't let that out. The church could not even think about laying out the fact that the earth circled around the sun rather than the sun circling around the earth.
Right.
Rather than the earth being the center of existence, you know, the earth is actually part of the whole the solar system and part of the galaxy. But anyhow, so they, you know, he was under severe persecution for that, you know. So everybody, you know, and anybody who spoke in that manner, they just, you know, they pretty much killed him.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
They quashed they did what they could to quash the intelligence, our ability to think beyond the church is telling us, the church and the kingdom is telling us.
Absolutely.
But anyhow,
So who did he think?
Okay, well, he came up with two of them. He said Esther Crowley and Bob Lazar would be his two picks. Have you ever read the story of Green Children of Woolpit? No, I never have. I don't know that particular story.
What's that now?
He asked if I've ever read the story of the Green Children of Woolpit. Anybody familiar with that? I've never heard of it. No.
Not offhand, nope.
Nope.
Really,
And who's that written by?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. But you know what? And there's, you know,
I've read some of this is Ray Bradbury and some of Carl Sagan. I haven't read all of their books. You know, I mean, crying out loud. I mean, you know, I've done enough to read about them though to get my to expand my knowledge at the time of the universe. Right. You know, to wrap my head around 2001. Before 2001 came out, it was hard for people to really wrap their head around the science that we were going towards. What the future was going to lie ahead for us.
Absolutely.
So they made 2001 and Stanley Kubrick, and thank goodness he did. And guy that wrote it, it's on the tip of my tongue. Yeah, we all know who it wrote. She'll come to me in a minute. But that type of influence in us, you know, got our brains thinking, you know, outside the box. And a lot of these other, but there's so many other books and stuff, you know, that, man, I don't have full knowledge of everything, you know, but so if all these people that are writing in and everything, I'm sorry that I can't help you, you know, out on that, but all I can say is just do your research on it, and you'll find it. You'll find it, you know, along your way.
Right.
Look and you shall see. Seek and you shall find. That's always the saying of mine, and it was given to me by somebody when I was young. I don't know if it was in boot camp. I think it might have been in boot camp. And so it was a saying that came to me. That's where I picked it up at. One of the inspectors had found one of the kids, one of the guys' stuff out of line, and he just tried stuffing it up underneath the bottom. And he said, "Look and you shall see, seek and you shall find." And he pulled it out, and we all, you know, see it, you know, just down there where we can see it. And I went, "Oh, crap!" You know, so yeah, that's been a saying of mine that I use, you know, and it's good for doing our research and doing to enlighten ourselves,
right?
To become knowledgeable of what is really going on. Because, man, we don't live in the Matrix in the form of the movie The Matrix, but that same basic principle, that same concept is what's going on. It maybe not that dramatical, maybe not that and such a wild presentation, but in the same way of programming, that programming thing going on, that is what's is real. And if you don't think that is real, I'm sorry. You should look, and if you want any more knowledge, look somewhere else, because we're not going to go there. You know,
exactly.
We're just not
crazy.
Going to do that. And I can say that arrogantly, you know, amongst us, you know, but also that really means, you know, hey, we know
90 seconds.
Just like that mummy they found down there in Peru.
Yeah.
The one that they found out that they did research on it. You know, they did X-rays on the hand and seen that it was the hand was broken apart and had bones stuck in places where they shouldn't be, and other. I knew it was crap from the get-go. I knew that was purpose. Just the way it looked, it was. You know,
well, we had our suspicions.
That's the context of
60 seconds.
Of the other practice skulls and the Nazca mummies found in the area. The ones that we're doing, the one that Brian Forster did research on to find the DNA on it. The one that they call the star child or star baby or something.
Right.
Something similar to that. The one with the weird looking body and the big head.
Yep.
That one. It didn't look like that. It didn't look like those. You know, it supposedly it came from that same time period. They're saying or that same area, but it hadn't been decomposed in that same strata, in that same type of ground if you will, it would have the same patina on it, the same patina on the remains.
You would think so.
10 seconds.
Oh,
The decay and all the decomposition of everything would be the same. Well, these ones here were, the white ones were completely, they looked like they came out of Pompeii. They look, to me, they looked like something that came out of the ruins of Pompeii. You know, it's been covered in ash.
right.
You know, and it just did not fit. You know what I'm saying? It didn't fit. I said, nope, no, there's no similarity whatsoever here. It's a crap, and that's all I got to say about that.
Exactly.
But anyhow, I needed to say that real quick.
Cool.
Because I knew, I just realized that the show was on, and I went, oh.
Yeah, we're actually,
I got to call in.
yeah, we're actually out of time already.
Forgot about that.
Yeah. Yeah, we already went past our minutes here on there, so we're gonna have to kind of end it here real quick. But we're gonna be back here tomorrow night, same time, 6 o'clock. Actually, I'm gonna do about 3 or 4 shows back to back because we got a lot of catching up to do on stuff.
Awesome.
Yeah. So
Good to hear from you guys.
yes, you too, Lee. And I want to thank.
Take care.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you all.
Good night.
Thank you. And I want to thank everybody that's on the live version of Facebook and Hangouts and YouTube. I see we got other viewers, all over the place. I want to thank the ones that were in chat and Tim and Lee for calling in. I really appreciate it. Like I said, 6 o'clock tomorrow night. Please join us. And until we meet again, thank you all and have a great, great evening. Thank you.
I want to thank you all for listening to Closer Encounters. Please remember to like, follow, and share. And until we meet again, keep your eyes to the skies. Thank you.